What's up, y'all? And today we're going to be playing New World. This is our 5th episode of MMO First Steps. And yeah, let's get into it. So, as you get into the game, the character creation, it's not really anything special. It feels like there's a lot missing, to be honest, for like this age of games. But it's not terrible. You can make a character not really that looks like you, but you could probably make a character that looks pleasant at least. Now, I feel like Amazon probably could have put a little bit more time into this, as this is supposed to be a game that has a lot of high fidelity, and if you're making a game and marketing a game with high fidelity, I feel like your character creation is something that your players are going to be thinking about a lot, especially when they're trying to be attached to a character in an MMO or just RPGs in general. Now, the intro of the game sets you up for a story that, it's really cool. Like, you see this guy, he's getting a boat, he's talking to this old, wizard guy or cleric or something, and he's had a terrible shipwreck that has caused him a bunch of trouble, and now he's giving this ship captain, a box with some mysterious item in it that he's going to presumably unlock the secrets of in Eternum. Now, the story is very cool, but later on, and as you'll see throughout the video, the story becomes less and less important and relevant as you get farther and farther into the game. Now, something that is kind of pertinent to the story, and it was really pervasive throughout my whole gameplay, was the glitchy and the badly synced voicing. The voice acting is not really specifically good, I would say. It's not the best voice acting I've ever heard from MMO. I mean, I appreciate it because I'm glad that they're not forcing us to read through mountains of text. But at the same time, it's not really at the quality that you would expect from a AAA developer, especially Amazon. And the problem was not even the voice acting with quality. It was that sometimes you would listen to a sentence that a NPC was saying, and it would just cut out for no reason. Now, this could be a problem with my internet connection, I suppose, but I don't think so. I've never had this happen, really, unless the games were kind of like, not the best games, pretty shitty games in general. But, and, some of these problems, it could be something to do with the launching, could be something to do with the server stability at launch, but I don't know. I think it's not really the focus of the game, so it's not a huge issue, but I kind of wanted to bring it up here. Now, the issues with the server lag, and this could be tied into the dialogue in the game, but I'm not sure. But the issues with the server lag in this game are so bad. When you're walking, especially like if you're running, you will be rubber banded back. It's going to happen. It doesn't really matter. It's going to happen at some point during your playing, probably every day in your playtime. And what's even worse is that jumping or falling down, you rubber band almost every time you jump or fall down. And it gets even worse when you're in combat, when you're pressing an ability and then your character just spazzes out and goes crazy. And I don't know what you would really call this, but it seemed like it was rubber banding, like it would hold back for a little bit from your inputs and then shoot out a bunch of animations that didn't actually do any damage, but it would shoot out the animations anyways. And this is like super bad for a game that's action combat. Now I'm hoping that this is more of an issue that is coming from it being a brand new game. So we'll see, but I really did not appreciate that. I think, and I've heard other players talking about that as well. I don't think that is not something that needs to exist in this game, and they need to fix that as soon as they could. Now the combat, there's parts of the combat that I really like the variety of the different weapons that you can use. I really like the hatchet, the bow. I really like the rapier, and I like the spear. Okay, everything else was not really my kind, like what I really like to play. But everybody wants to play something different, so that's not really. It's not really too pertinent to this. However, I will say that when you start the game, you don't have a choice as to what weapon you get to use. I think it would be great if there was when you get off of the boat and there's a bunch of different weapons scattered about on the floor or something, and you could pick one of them up and maybe try them out in that starting area when you get right off the boat. And the reason I say that the reason I feel this way is because, first of all, obviously everybody wants to get a handle of what they really appreciate, what they like to play in a game like this. But on top of that, there is the system in the game that is the weapon leveling system. It kind of makes you feel like you wasted your time when you had only the sword and board. And I mean, that's how I felt. So I assume that other people are going to feel that way. And if sword and board isn't your preferred weapon style, then I mean, you're kind of out of luck with the current iteration. But I don't think that it's too hard to implement a choice at that beginning. As you make your way into the first settlement, the quest line introduces you to 3 factions of the game. And this is cool. It's really cool for RP. As I said, for the story. That's it. I don't think that it makes too much of a difference which faction you actually choose. It's kind of more just aesthetic, which is totally fine, I think. As far as I have I haven't come across any real differences. But as far as I can see, it seems like all aesthetic differences. Now, that comes with a caveat is your server. If your server is heavily Syndicate, then you should probably go Syndicate. My server is, I wouldn't say it's equal, but Syndicate and Marauders are pretty equal. So I'm actually a Syndicate. Yeah, just to give you my choice. I thought Syndicate was kind of cool.
Wherever you come from, it's lost to you. This is your
As you quest, fight, craft, and gather, you're gonna hear a lot of great and impactful sound effects, and they just impact you, and they frame whatever activity you're doing. It really adds to an immersion and almost a nostalgic feeling that you get from this. And I think that the way that they have engineered these sounds in this game, oh my goodness, it adds a second level to how you play this game, how you feel in the world of this game. It adds so much to the game that you might not even notice, but when you hear your level ups, ting, or you hear just chopping down the trees, the cracking of the trees when it falls down, when you skin an animal, any of those things, it sounds so good. The fighting, when you hit something, it's meaty, it's chunky. You feel like something actually went into the body of that animal or that zombie that you're fighting. It is really impactful, and it adds a huge amount of flavor to whatever activity you're doing. And even like your level up things, all these dings, they add to just an immersion into the game. Your feeling of accomplishment is greater because of these kind of sounds. And yeah, I think that they did a great job. Amazon, good job for that. Now, the music, on the other hand, is super glitchy, and half the time the music doesn't really fit the situation that you're in. There are times when like you'll be just chilling out and cutting down some trees, but the music will be like super intense, like dun 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 dun, and you'll be like cutting down trees. I'm like, dude, I'm just trying to chill here, and the music's just going ham. Like, and sometimes you'll be playing the game, and then it'll like catch onto one track, and it won't change. Like, it'll stay on that track for a long time, and it gets annoying. And really, I'm not trying to say that the music is low quality, because it's not. It's really high quality, and you can tell that the artists who made it did a great job. And because of that, when it works correctly and when it's in the right places, it fits really nicely. Like, for instance, when you go to what is it, Bright Forest, or Brightwood, I think it is. When you go to Brightwood and you hear the ominous music playing, and you step into that gray, dark zone with zombies, ghosts, and everything just floating around, and you see those zombies that hold the sickles, it adds a huge amount of flavor to those zones. And that really creeped me out, to be honest. But that adds a huge amount of depth to your zones. And I really I hope that they can find a way to fix this, because I think maybe there is enough variety of these songs, but you need to place them better as to where they would fit correctly. Though I'm not sure how that works. They can figure it out. Another issue I've had with this game, mob diversity feels extremely lacking. Like, super low mob diversity. It's really come to the point that I really don't want to see another different color wolf again for the 1,000th time. It's really annoying. I don't want to kill the same wolf. I don't want to kill the same, lynx. I don't want to kill the same zombie 1,000 times. It gets to the point where it's just too much. The mob diversity in this game is very low. They need to fix that. I know it's expensive, but they need to do it. There is literally a dozen, quote unquote, different wolves per each area. And this just gives me it gave me a feeling of fatigue, that I don't want to go skin these same wolves again and again and again. It's too much. Now, what I want to add is I want the feeling where I'm a skinner and I go to a place just to find that unique animal. And I know they have that with bears and possibly some other things in the future, but I just don't feel that, especially in the starting zones. I feel like you really need that in this kind of game. You want to go out, there's this onyx boar here, but if you go deep into the cave, you can find Jarjaboa, and it's a huge boar with 5 tusks and red eyes, and you can go kill that for an extra special loot box in the back. That would be great. If we could get that, I would love that. It seems like it's extremely lacking on that kind of like feeling in the game. You do have some unique mobs. I would kind of put that as a quote unquote because most of the unique mobs share the same model as other mobs, but they are named, so that's why they're unique. It's just lacking in this aspect, and yeah, I hope they can fix it. Now, the travel system in this game, and I know they know this, the travel system in this game is bad. Bad. So bad. It's so trash. Like, there really needs to be some solution for this. I don't know exactly who thought up the idea of using Azoth as the currency that you use to teleport around. I don't know who. It just seems weird. It doesn't really fit correctly. If anything, you would use gold, but the problem is you'll be out in the middle of somewhere, and it already takes like it could take you 20 fucking minutes to get to back to a settlement. It could take that long. Even if you're inside of the same zone, it could take 20 minutes to get back to the settlement. And that just why can't you fast travel when you're out there? It feels really weird, and I just think, to be honest, the whole thing should be just scrapped and just put mounts in the game, add the fast travel with a gold cost instead of the Azoth. I don't know how everybody else feels about that, but that's how I feel. It's a huge pain you have to walk so much, and the fact that there isn't mounts kind of astounds me, to be honest, because I would have seen this coming. If I was a game dev, I guarantee I would have seen this shit. It's terrible. This is very bad. Now, some other issues that I think need to be addressed, but I don't think that they're like fully worthy of having a huge rant about. I have had countless UI bugs that, like, for instance, it'll say you are leaving this event area. If you leave, then you will lose all rewards and experience. And that box will be up in my screen for the rest of the time that I have the game open. And it'll be there for hours and will not go away. This is one that happens a lot. Another one is that my quest log will just go away, and I can't see my quest log at all. That's really bad. Now, there's also things like the mob respawns. My goodness, I don't understand. There's a reason why when a mob respawns in like Final Fantasy or WoW, it doesn't automatically attack you as soon as it spawns, because it's bullshit. That shouldn't be something that happens. But when a mob respawns, it just respawns and then just goes to attack. It's really weird. And on top of that, like something that I think may be a cause of the servers being newish and they're still trying to figure out their way through. Desync in PvP is a huge problem in this game, worse than any other game I've ever played in my life. I played so many PvP games. This game takes the cake on how much desync there is. When you play like Black Desert, there's desync, but my God, it's like the desync. It fell down the stairs in this game. Like someone will be, like you're going to attack somebody, but at their computer they've already dodged your attack, but it won't show it on. It's just really bad. It doesn't match up correctly, and it feels really unnatural for the PvP. I don't know how they're gonna fix that, but they really need to. Now, after all of that, you might think I wouldn't recommend this game, but really, that couldn't be farther from the truth. And the runescaping aspect of this game is so good. I could spend days on days, just grinding, gathering, and crafting. The intricacies within the systems, they're extremely deep, and it feels really rewarding when you are able to like put something together, a new thing, when you get a new like power tier because you created something that you didn't have access to previously. This feels so good. I love it. And that does come with a few criticisms with the game, specifically about there being probably going to be a final plateau to the game where people aren't really going to be progressing any further. That's almost 100% going to happen, but we'll see when that happens. Now, other things are when you hit certain level ups, it feels like extremely barren between certain level ups. So between like, for instance, I'll give an example. I don't know. I'm just off the top of my head. Between 30 and 45, you might not get anything for what is it? Like weaponsmithing. You might not get anything. No new recipes, nothing. And that kind of feels bad. I feel like there should be a couple more little tiers, like maybe mini tiers between there so you can level it a little bit faster. Not only for that reason, but because you kind of want to feel that progression constantly. But it's not a huge deal to me, to be honest. Otherwise, I think these systems feel so well thought out. I hope that they can bring that kind of attitude to the rest of the game. All of these problems that I've said, I actually don't think that they're the worst problems in the world. There's a few of them that are pretty bad, but I think that they can fix a lot of these. Now that said, with everything together, I will give this game, at this moment, I'm going to give it an above average score. Okay, I think right now it is not the best MMO that it could be, but I would say that it's like a solid, 7 out of 10, which is pretty good, I think. Especially, I'm giving it kind of a benefit of doubt that they're going to fix some of the problems. Now, if they don't, I would say it's probably like a 6 out of 10. But if they do, it's a 7 out of 10. And I'm probably going to be playing this game on my Twitch stream. So if you want to catch that, go to twitch.tv/Kingslick. And I hope everybody go ahead and hit that subscribe, hit that like button. Now, go ahead and go into the comments below and tell me what kind of games you also want me to look at. That would be great. But everybody, peace.